The playoffs are here, hockey fans. The best tournament of the year. The Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. 4 games last night, 4 games going on tonight. The road to Lord Stanley's Cup has been set. Who is going to come away with it? You have found your way into the neutral zone. Adam and Zach, we're going to take you all the way through. We're going to give you our predictions of who's going to come away with the cup, what the path might look like, react to the games that went on last night, a couple of games going on live now during the show tonight. Lots to go through. Buckle on up. It's going to be a lot to get through. Are the Colorado Avalanche going to come away with it? They certainly are the favorites. What about the Florida Panthers? They won the President's Trophy. Are they going to come away with it? Is somebody else going to sneak in? Edmonton was on the rise at the end of the regular season. Might somebody pull off an upset? Might somebody come out of relative obscurity? Alexander Ovechkin's a tough guy to get past in the playoffs. And let's not forget about the goalies. Jonathan Quick, he's coming off of a career year. We all know what goalies can do come the playoffs. All that and more. We've also got a little bit of college news before we get out of here. This is the Neutral Zone. And welcome on in, hockey fans, back to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam. Zach Puplis is along with us tonight as well. So much to be going through. It's playoff season. We're down to our final 16. The tournament has started. It's time to figure out who's going to be raising Lord Stanley's Cup. How you doing tonight, Zach?
Fantastic. How are you, Adam?
I am pumped. There's playoff hockey on my television, on my computer. I get to watch playoff hockey, man. This is great.
Wall-to-wall playoff hockey.
My wife may not see me for the next month and a half. I might pay for that later.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Though, I realized last night I stayed up all the way to watch the end of the Kings-Oilers game last night.
Okay.
1 o'clock in the morning is a lot harder when you're 35 as opposed to 25. That kind of sucks.
I'm 34. I still do it.
All right, I'll let you borrow the kid for a couple of weeks and then come back to me.
Okay, that's fair.
I woke up this morning and it was like, man, why don't I have energy? Oh, yeah, I stayed up and watched a hockey game until 1 o'clock last night.
And I chase around a 3-year-old, 4-year-old.
That's my, yes, and that's my form of exercise, so.
There you go.
But I tell you what, that was the game to check out. That was the one to watch last night was Kings Oilers. You know, playoffs started last night. They got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I mean, blowouts. I mean, you had the Maple Leafs absolutely dismantle the defending champs. You had St. Louis go into Minnesota and not just stole one big. And then you had I'm blanking on what the other game was. It was Carolina. Yeah, the Carolina game. Carolina also just anti-Ranta doing what Antti Ranta does when he's in prime form. Those first 3 games, it was a combined score of 14-1. So it was nice to watch. It was nice to watch a back and forth competitive game. I mean, the Kings never trailed, but it was right there back and forth the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. That's, when the rest of the night goes that way, I'll take it if, even if one team hasn't trailed the whole night. As long as it's within 1 goal the whole game, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Kings jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but then Connor McDavid just said, enough is enough. We need to get back into this thing, and skated through the entire Kings defense and put it in the back of the net. And suddenly it was, it's a game. Connor McDavid just announced game.
Back to playing video games here, huh?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was sitting on the couch. My wife was next to me. She was reading something. I just bolted up and was just look, just watch this. 4 guys right there around McDavid. He just split them and put the puck in the back of the net like there was nothing to it.
Oh my gosh, making it look easy, huh?
There was nothing Quick could do. There was nothing Jonathan Quick. And Jonathan Quick, he was the reason the Kings won last night. He finished with, I believe it was 36 saves on the night, on 39 shots. He kept them in that. Mike Smith, on the other end, he had a rough night for Edmonton. He had a rough game. I mean, he turned the puck over, and what ultimately led to the game-winning goal. He made up for it at first. I mean, it was turn the puck over. He was behind his net playing the puck, threw it back out into the slot where a Kings player was right there to collect it. Smith literally jumped back into the goalie crease, stopped the puck. It was amazing, but he couldn't regain himself to continue to handle it, and eventually LA scored. So Mike Smith had a rough night. He was the reason for the turnover on the game-winning goal. He let in a soft goal for Edmonton. Mike Smith had a rough night. He's going to need to come out in Game 2 and be better. But that Edmonton offense, I know who you are predicting to come out of the West. We'll talk about that a little bit. Edmonton looked good. Even though Edmonton lost, Edmonton looked good.
Yeah.
So let's start there, actually, Zach. Who are you looking to come out of these playoffs? We're 1 game in, half the series. Who are you looking at coming into who are you expecting to come out of these playoffs with the Cup?
I'm definitely still leaning towards the Avalanche. I mean, they've been the favorites the entire season, but I might hedge my bet a little bit with Edmonton. And then, how about I give you a final 4? How's that sound?
I'll take it.
Avalanche, Oilers, Panthers, Lightning.
Say those again.
Avalanche, Oilers, Panthers, Lightning. Your thoughts?
Interesting. I like Avalanche Oilers for the Western Conference Final. I really do. Even though the Kings, and I know Taryn is temporarily a Kings fan over here in the chat room, and we will get to our homework and our housekeeping here in just a minute. I was just so excited to jump into the show. Taryn is in the chat. Taryn's actually eating dinner right now. He's at a fancy steakhouse. Ooh. Taryn, you got to give us the details here. What cut did you get? What are your sides? Let's give us some details here, Taryn. But he is in the chat room with us, certainly in spirit, if not quite typing as much.
For sure, yeah.
But I like Edmonton and the Avalanche for the Western Conference Final. I like that.
But how do you feel about my East picks then?
Yeah. I know it was just one game. Tampa looked bad last night. Now, certainly they were in Toronto. That crowd was juiced for that game last night. They were excited for the Maple Leafs to be back in the playoffs. They were going nuts. They were going ecstatic all throughout there in Toronto. So certainly the crowd energy fed into that. I don't know that Tampa's going to survive this first round. I would not be surprised to see Toronto come away with that one.
Well, I mean, playoff series. Oh, it's you got two different trains of thought on it. Like, it's a 7-game series, or they set the tone, and that might be all it takes. To set the tone in the first game. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it here. Well, also, okay, Zach, not to be that guy, but another way that can't be your Final Four. Tampa and Florida would play each other in the second round.
Oh, shoot, my bad. I mean, I'm even looking at the bracket, and I still made that mess up. Wow. Okay, the winner of the Florida teams, and then Carolina. How about that?
Oh, okay. I'll accept that. Yeah, I like the Hurricanes as well. Teuvo Teravainen and Antti Ranta, and I mean they're ex-Blackhawks. Of course, I'm going to like them. So
I thought I was sensing a trend there.
Teuvo's good. And Nino, He's not an ex-Blackhawk, but my favorite hockey name of all time is on the Hurricanes, Nino Niederreiter. They've got to make it to the Eastern Conference Final, if no other reason than that.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's like you teasing your little brother,
Exactly. Nino, come here, Niederreiter. So as we're going through this here, real quick, we'll update on the scores tonight. The Penguins and Rangers are into the third period. They are tied at 3. The Penguins converted a 5-on-3 power play to tie the game right before the end of the second period. It was actually right before the show started. Evgeny Malkin with just a beautiful pass through the goal crease, and Brian Rust able to just tap it into the goal. It was a beautiful, beautiful play. And a 5-on-3 power play, those are, when you get extended time 5-on-3, and they had 45 seconds of 5-on-3, usually whoever wins that battle winds up winning the game. So that bodes well for the Penguins in Madison Square Garden tonight. We'll see what happens, but that game's currently tied at 3. Chris Kreider also converted a shorthanded goal for the Rangers earlier. And then we are just about at the end of the second period in Florida between the Panthers and the Capitals. The Panthers lead in that one 2-1. We've had the Capitals got off to the early 1-0 lead, converting on the power play, but then the Panthers have come back and scored 2 straight to take the lead 2-1 as we are into intermission now in Florida. So lots and lots of action going on. I did want to, before we close out here, this first segment, talking about the games from last night, the Minnesota Wild against St. Louis. St. Louis was the first road team to win in these playoffs, followed shortly then by Los Angeles. Minnesota went 0-for-6 on the power play last night.
Ooh.
I know one of them at least was truncated, that it was a 4-on-4 that the Wild committed a penalty, had a man in the box. Then while the Blues were on the power play, they committed a penalty and a man went in the box. So they were 4-on-4 for quite a bit of time. And Minnesota wound up with, I think, 3 seconds of a man advantage. So I know one of them, was too short for them to do anything with. But, man, you've got to convert one of those. You've got to score on one of those. You don't get many power play opportunities in the playoffs. When you get 6 in one game, you've got to convert at least one, ideally 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury wasn't great in his Minnesota playoff debut either, but not a lot of help there from the special teams unit of the Minnesota Wild, going 0 for 6 on the power play.
That's just hard to believe.
Yeah, not good things going on there. But the nice thing is, for all the teams that lost, for the 4 teams that lost yesterday, you turn right around. Even though they were ugly for the most part, it's only one game. You turn right around tomorrow night, you can get right back in the series with a win.
Yep.
So even though they were ugly losses, they can get right back into these series. All right, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, Zach, I know you had some stuff you wanted to talk about with the Lightning. We'll start there when we come back. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. This is the Neutral Zone. He is Zach. I am Adam. We will be back right after this on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? This is Ben Matello, the host of the Yinza Report, right here on IE Sports Radio. I'm bringing you the latest in the Steel City, the City of Champions, from the Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, as well as the college game with both Penn State and Pitt. You could join me every Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on IE Sports Radio, where I'll be talking about everything from the Steel City, the City of Champions, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam. He is Zach. We are back with you. Lots that we went through, you in a quick recap of the Stanley Cup playoff games that we have had to this point. And apparently my computer decided to not mute the game as I pull up the Pittsburgh New York Ranger game to keep updated on that. It is still tied at 3. I do apologize, though, for the intrusion there on that. And without any further ado, we do, of course, need to acknowledge our sponsors and other reads for the show, starting with the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. Find them on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, Instagram Southern California _Warriors, or Facebook search Southern California Warriors. IE Sports Radio is available on all the major platforms at IE Sports Radio. That gets you Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we're turning 8 years old later this month. To celebrate, we're hosting a special 3-hour edition of The Defining Moment on May 14th at 12 Eastern Time. Come hang out with your favorite IESR personalities, and thank you for helping make this possible. Yeah, we are almost 8 years old now. IE Sports Radio has been coming to you with all kinds of different shows and content and fun activities there. So you definitely want to hang out, catch at least part of that show. We do have a fan of the month for the month of May. It is Justin Ekstrom, a Vikings fan from Minnesota. You can follow him at thesportscrib21 on Twitter. And finally, congratulations to Mike Pat, the host of Let's Whine About Sports. He won the 2022 IE Sports Radio NFL Mock Draft Challenge. Congratulations to Mike. All right, Zach, I know you've had this story in your back pocket a little bit. The Tampa Bay Lightning, despite getting dismantled by the Toronto Maple Leafs last night in Game 1 of their Eastern Division playoff round, they got to visit somebody fairly significant and special here recently, didn't they?
Yes, sir. Let's see, about a week and a half ago, they got to visit the White House and meet the President Joe Biden. He joked that Steven Stamkos was getting old after playing in the NHL for 14 seasons. He praised the Tampa Bay Lightning's vaccine efforts and otherwise avoided politics while honoring the team for winning the Stanley Cup in each of the past 2 seasons. In a rare sports break amid the administration's response to Russia's war in Ukraine, the President on Monday referenced First Lady Jill Biden's attendance at a vaccination event at the Lightning's home arena last year and congratulated the Lightning for winning 2 pandemic championships, one in an empty building in quarantine. One in an empty building in a quarantine bubble, and another in a packed house at home in Tampa, Florida. Quote, "I'm not saying that the First Lady being there at your arena during the playoffs is why you won," Biden said with a smile, "but just saying that she was there during the election season as well. She seems to show up when people win. Just something to think about."
He knows which side his bread is buttered on.
Right. Biden made little mention of players other than Stamkos while talking about the Lightning's back-to-back title run, which relied heavily on Andrei Vasilevsky, Nikita Kucherov, and Mikhail Sergachev. Sergachev, okay. Vasilevsky was the playoff MVP last year, and Kucherov was the top scorer in each postseason. Don't forget about Braden Point.
Yeah.
And the award for most consistent player in the playoffs. All 3 players attended the event, and Sergachev shared photos of them around the White House on social media. No noticeable absences, and a handful of players from the Lightning's 2020 championship team who had departed or retired even made appearances. Just for this occasion, the team made a 3rd trip to the nation's capital in 8 months, after already visiting the Washington Capitals twice this season. Lightning flew Sunday night after playing the Florida Panthers, and were set to return home before facing the Blue Jackets on Tuesday, before the playoffs began, blah, 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 blah. Despite the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup 3 times in 2004, 20, and 21, it was the organization's first time visiting a sitting president at the White House. The 04-05 NHL lockout prevented that year's team from going, and the pandemic delayed this opportunity until 9 months after the second of those back-to-back championships. Stamkos was quoted as saying, "It was a long time in the making. We weren't sure if we were going to get this opportunity, but it was certainly worth the wait. Stamkos, who was Canadian, deferred to McDonough, who was from Minnesota, to speak on behalf of the players at the ceremony. Players and coach John Cooper, who were both wearing Cup rings, were most impressed by Biden inviting them into the Oval Office to chat afterward. Cooper says, in the position he's in, being the leader of the free world and all that stuff, he has an amazing ability to wipe that persona aside and just be a human being like he was one of our teammates, said Cooper, who's a dual citizen of U.S. and Canada. I kind of... this is the age-old question of which person would you rather vote for. Well, he looks like he'd be good to sit down and have a beer with. Literally, Cooper says, I kind of wanted to get greedy and sit down and have a beer with on a bar stool with this guy and listen to the story of his life. You can see why he was elected president. Biden won some major points when he praised the Tampa area for the MLB's Rays reaching the World Series in 2020 and the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl in football months later. He said the Lightning may be here next year. Who knows?
Yeah, Tampa has suddenly become the hotbed of sports championships lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Is this Ryan McDonough? I got one last little bit here. It's good. Ryan McDonough, the alternate captain, says pretty much everybody was on board, everybody that could make it, former players and stuff, they all tried to make it here. It's just a great tradition that we have. You become part of a championship team. You get to go to the White House and meet the president. Good thing is with our group is that the hunger is still there. McDonough continued, we don't need any kind of extra motivation, but certainly this does heighten the excitement for sure, going into the last week of the regular season and before the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's one of the cool perks of winning the championship. You get to go meet the president, and let's face it, if you're the president, that's got to be one of the least stressful activities you do. So, of course, you want to have as many of them as you can.
Yeah. Well, and you get to meet the president, and you get to go to Disney World, right?
Sure, yeah. Why not? Why not? Go to Disney World. So good things for the Lightning there. Catching up real quick, Pittsburgh and New York are still tied at 3 with 4.5 minutes to go in the third. So we may be getting ready for our first overtime game of these playoffs. The Penguins tied it up in a terrific second period, and we've been deadlocked at 3 ever since then. So keeping an eye on that too as we go through there. So Tampa Bay, you get to meet the president, but now you've got to go, across the country and across the border and get slammed by Toronto.
Yeah, that was surprising.
So, like we said in the first segment, you lose that first game. It doesn't matter by how much. All you need to do is win the second game, and you're right back in it. So,
yeah. Well, the way I see it for Toronto is, they've had the building blocks in place for a couple of years now, and they finally just got enough pieces together to get over the hump and get back in the playoffs. And people, their fans have been starving for this, I'm sure, especially with not being able to be in the stands for most of the last 2 years. And so I think that just brought it to a whole new level. And I don't know if Tampa Bay was prepared for it.
Oh yeah, I mean that atmosphere last night in Toronto was just crazy, just insane, just an electric avenue.
A lot of pent up energy, a lot of pent up frustration that they're able to release.
Yes, and then when they kept scoring. Oh, and speaking of scoring, the Rangers just got one. We're going to see if it counts. There was a crazy scrum in front of the net. It looks like it's going to count, though. I'm not seeing any reason why it shouldn't, anything from the officials. So the Rangers, with 3 minutes and change, retake the lead 4-3 over Pittsburgh. So I'm going to try and give a little bit of play-by-play here. It was a breakaway down low. You had a collision with the goalie just outside of the goalie crease. Puck got loose, and it wound up right to, who is that? 72 for the Rangers. I should just have the rosters right in front of me. Philip Chittle. Excuse me. Oh, Pittsburgh is challenging, though, so we'll see. Because there was definitely...
Chittle, looks like.
Chittle, yeah. Well, definitely... Pittsburgh's goalie definitely got run into. I mean, there was definite contact there. I'm sure they're going to look at is how incidental was it in the goalie crease. It looked like he was in the crease, in the blue paint yet, when DeSmith got hit. So,
they took it off of the ESPN website, the goal, but then it says challenge, the stoppage referee or linesman challenge issued goal interference.
And that would make sense. You look at it. Yeah, they're coming in here. Oh, yeah. Yep. He did not get blocked into the goalie. He collided with DeSmith. That was, again, I should just have the rosters up here for the Rangers. That was Capo Caco. Definitely ran into DeSmith of his own accord. So, yes, they do indeed. They wave off the goal. No goal. They are back to being tied with 3 minutes left in the game. So, all kinds of excitement going on at Madison Square Garden right now in Game 1. I think we may indeed wind up with our first overtime game of these playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk about Michigan State hockey a little?
Yes, we can do it. Tell you what, let's take one more quick break, and then when we come back, let's talk about some college hockey, because I know that your alma mater made some news today, so I know you'll want to talk about that.
Yes, of course.
All right. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. He is Zach. I am Adam. We'll be right back after this.
Shores of the Puget Sound to the rushing waters of the Columbia River, stretching across the Great Cascades, and on IE Sports Radio lives the Northwest Territory Sports Show, hosted by me, Brad Buckingham. On this show, I cover all the great collegiate and professional sport teams that we have here in the Pacific Northwest. Of course, I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle Mariners, Sounders, and even the Seattle Kraken. But I can't forget all of that is good in Oregon either. I got the Trailblazers, the Oregon Ducks, the Beavers, even the Timbers, and much, much more. You can listen to the show every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, noon to 1 p.m. Pacific on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Motorsports takes many forms, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seen, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Rose Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back to the Neutral Zone, hockey fans. One more segment for you here tonight before we get out of here. The Rangers and the Penguins decided they were liking playing so much they wanted to keep on going. End of regulation, tied at 3 at Madison Square Garden, so they are headed for overtime. The Capitals and the Panthers, meanwhile, are early in the third. They've got about 12 and a half minutes to go in the third. Still 2-1 Florida there. So that's what's going on here. But it's not just stuff happening in the NHL today. We've got some news from the hockey world. Zach, what was your alma mater up to today?
Well, first, on April 12th, they decided after 5 years they are going to part ways with their hockey coach, Danton Cole. His first major move as athletic director, Alan Haller, announced Tuesday that Danton Cole is out. Cole was head coach for 5 seasons with a record of 58, 101, and 12. Quote, over last month, I spent time evaluating where we currently stand as a hockey program. It's become clear to me that it's in the best interest of the program to make a change in leadership and begin a new era of Spartan hockey. Danton Cole is a Spartan alum who put his heart into his job, and we appreciate his efforts and dedication. I believe a fresh start is what the program needs most, We have a proud championship history and a passionate alumni group. With a renovated ice arena opening this fall and a renewed commitment to the success of the program, great things are on the horizon for Spartan hockey. Said renovation was started in 2019. $26.2 million renovation project was paused during the pandemic, but restarted last year, and is set to be unveiled later this year. Cole, 55, a Pontiac native and a Michigan State alumni, was an accomplished, acclaimed hire when then athletic director Mark Hollis tapped him in April 2017 from the USA Hockey National Team Development Program. He also had previously been head coach of Alabama Huntsville. Oh, there you go, Adam. Remember how we were laughing at that at the beginning of the season?
I was going to say, somehow it always comes back to Huntsville, Alabama, having a hockey team.
Right. He was there from 07 to 10, Motor City Mechanics from 4 to 6, and the Griffins from 02 to 05, and the Muskegon Fury 01 to 02. Yeah, 5 years and a day after MSU hired him, Cole is out after not making the NCAA tournament in 5 seasons. I mean, you think about basketball, not making the NCAA tournament is, after, however many years is a fireable offense. Well, that's 68 teams, Mm-hmm. This is only 16. So it's even harder. State made the NCAA. Huh?
Oh, yeah. It's such a tight field compared to.
Oh, yeah. Michigan State made the NCAA tournament in all but 4 years, from 82 to 2008, with 8 Frozen Fours and 2 national championships in 86 and 07, when I was a freshman, but hasn't qualified for the NCAA tournament since 2012. The 10-year NCAA drought is the second longest in program history since the NCAA tournament started in 48. Longest drought was from 68 to 81. Cole was a player on that 86 championship team. This season, Michigan State started 11-8-1, but then lost 13 straight and 15 of its last 16 games. Let's see. Cole's firing comes barely 2 weeks after Michigan State announced the addition of 2 key forward recruits from the state of Minnesota, freshman Gavin Best and graduate transfer Justin Jalen Brown. They filled out a 5-player recruiting class for 22-23. Excuse me. So that's what happened to the previous coach. I must have missed that over the last couple weeks. But the new coach was introduced today. His name is Adam Nightingale. He is also a Spartan alum. He's got hockey experience at the international, the professional, and collegiate and youth levels, and he's been named the 8th head coach in MSU hockey history. He comes to MSU after 2 seasons as head coach at the U.S. National Team Development Program and brings 4 years of NHL experience, including serving as an assistant coach for the Red Wings in 19 and 20. He's known for his exceptional player development and recruiting ties. He was also a 2-year alternate captain as a Spartan student athlete. This is a quote from the athletic director, Alan Haller. It brings me great pride to bring Adam Nightingale back to Michigan State University as the new head coach of Spartan hockey. Adam has a passion for the school and the program, and his combination of skill development, player development, and recruiting ties promises to make the next era of Spartan hockey a successful chapter in the storied history of a proud program.
Your cat is giving wonderful commentary on all this, too.
Hi, yeah, what's out there, bud? He did that in the middle of the night last night, and
Food.
Anyways, criteria such as skill development, strong recruiting ties, style of play, respect throughout the hockey community, and an ability to holistically develop student athletes on and off the ice became the focus and guideposts for the search. Here we go. This is what made me wonder, because the previous guy was a Spartan alum And then to hear that this guy was a Spartan alum, I'm like, are they going like the Michigan man route? Like, oh, you have to be a Spartan, you know? But he says being a former Spartan player was not a requirement for either him or the advisory group. That was something that was very clear. The focus was finding the right fit based on the developed criteria. In a thorough search, one that included conversations with some successful current head coaches, Adam matched all the established criteria. He'll be formally introduced at a press conference Monday, May 9th. Nightingale says, I'm extremely thankful and humbled to have the opportunity to lead at Michigan State. Spartan hockey is a source of pride for the university, the East Lansing community, and the entire state of Michigan. He wants to thank the athletic director, the deputy AD, blah, 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 everyone involved.
All the people and the things.
Yeah, exactly. Skip down to the bottom here. Yeah, he has quite the experience all over the place. What people are saying about him. Justin Abdelkader was at MSU from 05 to 08. He was with the Red Wings from 08 to 20, and he was a 2022 Olympian. I had the pleasure to work with Adam in Detroit when he was an assistant coach with the Wings, and over the last 2 years with his team at USA Hockey. He really has a great way of connecting with his players and getting the most out of them. His players respect him as a person and as a coach. I look forward to him having the same impact on his players here at Michigan State. Torrey Krug was at MSU from 09 to 2012 and is still in the NHL currently. Torrey says, I spent hours talking hockey with Adam during our overlapping time at MSU. It was not only evident that he had a great hockey mind, but his passion for MSU and leadership skills would one day make him a great head coach. We are lucky to have such a great person behind the bench for the Spartans, and I wish him and his family the best of luck as they move back to East Lansing. And lastly, Ryan Miller, MSU 99 to 2002, NHL 02 to 21. He was an Olympian in 2010 and 14. Adam has always been a dedicated worker and a quality person. He has become a respected coach that is focused on developing skill along with character. I believe his work ethic and competitive nature will shine through as a great example to our young players. It was an important hire for MSU, and I think all the parties were extremely proactive in leaning on alumni and important figures within the hockey world to help define what is needed from a modern college coach before hiring the best candidate.
Well, it certainly sounds like a smart hire by the Spartans, and we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, interesting though that they've back-to-back guys now have been former players in the program.
Yeah, I mean, it has very much Michigan man feel to it, so I'm glad that he addressed that. Like, I think they went about it the right way this time. I don't know. I can't say that they went about it the wrong way last time necessarily, but I mean, the results do speak for themselves. But yeah, here's all my criteria. I want him to be a good recruiter, good leader, blah, 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 right? Skill development, all this kind of stuff. And then if it happens, he's an alum on top of that, great. It's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But, let's get our basics right first, and rather than just, the good old boys club of oh, he's a Spartan, we need him. Like,
yeah. It helped too that he was. It helped too that he was just down the road in Detroit, and they could just pluck him out of there.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, it was funny because when the previous guy got hired, I saw his name, and I'm like, it's so close to Mark D'Antonio, like the old football coach.
Mm-hmm.
The hockey coach's name was Danton Cole. I'm like, so are you just looking for somebody who has a name that's so close to Mark D'Antonio? You think the success is just automatically going to rub off, or what?
It makes the business cards really easy to type up.
Right. Well, it's like D'Antonio, but missing the I and the O at the end.
It's just missing the Italian.
Right. Love it. Boopity boppity.
Patty is listening in as well, and she chimed in that she was actually down in Huntsville, Alabama for a bowling tournament a few years back. Patty, did you realize that you were apparently in the southern hub for collegiate hockey, that there is a Division I hockey program there in Alabama, and it's apparently decent. We spent, Zach brought this to my attention back in September in one of the very first episodes, and we were stunned that Alabama had a hockey team. I mean, we did a whole segment on how amazed we were about it. So,
right.
It was a thing. All right.
It was indeed.
Well, we need to get out of the way at this point tonight because Kale Henderson is coming up right after us to do Sin City Sports, talking about Vegas. The Golden Knights, for the first time in their franchise history, failed to make the playoffs. So I'm sure he will be talking about that.
Quick score update. Avalanche are already up 2-0 on the Preds. They're only in like 5 minutes into the game.
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
Not at all.
That's going to be a 4-game series. Predators, Avalanche, that's going down in 4.
Get your brooms ready.
Yeah, get the brooms ready. They'll have plenty of time to get the ice ready to take on whoever's next in the Central, either St. Louis or Minnesota. All right, that does it for us tonight. Thank you, of course, to the Southern California Warriors for sponsoring us and all the shows on the network. Thank you to Justin Ekstrom, our fan of the month, at the SportsCrib21 on Twitter. Give him a follow. Thank you to Larry for all the hard work he does behind the scenes with this station, with this show. We've got our 8th birthday coming up May 14th. Be sure to check that out. Thank you to Taryn for hanging out with us in the chat room tonight. Thank you for Patty for listening in and chiming in from time to time over in the group chat. For Zach, I'm Adam. Let's get out of here and go watch some playoff hockey, huh? We will be right back next week. We will be breaking down. We'll see if any of the round 1 series are done. Have any gone long? What surprised us so far? Right back, same time, same station, next Tuesday. In the meantime, be sure to stick around. Kale Henderson, Sin City Sports, talking all things Las Vegas. There's going to be some moves happening in the desert for that hockey team. Jack Eichel, Robin Leonard, and the boys. They got some questions to answer out there. Until then, stay out of the boards, stay out of the penny box. We'll see you next time.